The value proposition is about what we call cardboard, bread with a K. Bread with no yeast, only 210 kilocalorie per 100 gram. We have some more information here when you go to cardboard.com, and we are interested to know about the product in more detail, what are the resources necessary, and so on. In order to do this, we have gone through a process which we call RapidProtoTyping, and it is from here that you can easily select the occupations, and I'll show you the result. So here you have 3 bakers, drivers, workers, food preparation people, and a general manager, and a sales advertising guy. So those are the selected, and they go into it, and also this goes into the process of salary, wages, benefits via the labor office statistics data. So that way we get a pretty decent, realistic workplace cost consisting of those resources. Let me show that as well. So we have here facility cost, IT, other fixed cost, salary, wages, benefits, which is made up of those 9 positions. Some travel cost. What is missing here are the recipe cost. So let's assume we just do this for somebody else and just for simplification. Otherwise we need to bring in the transactional data with all the ingredients and so on. No problem, but for the sake of what is necessary and how is it done. Alright, so we now have those resources, and we have the occupation, and we also have made tables where we have expenses account. Then we get the resource as a workplace cost, and in the next step, because of the occupation which can pick up activities through a process, I have to show you separately. So here are our occupation versus expense. Here they are called OVE, and here is a task, and when we hover over it, we see there are 202,000 entries, so there are altogether over 2,000 detailed work activities called DWA. Forget the other stuff, and it is from here that we match those occupations versus expense through a decomposition process, and then we select just the bakers, the food preparation workers, and on a daily, several times daily, and on task type just the core, nothing else. And when we do this, we then get the remaining part calculated, which I will show you on the other FlowBuilder like we left it. But as you can see here, we only have now a fraction of that, which means just some 280 entries, where we started with the 2,000 entries. So the mechanism of our software just leaves the remaining part, only those where we have a match on the codes, we have a final result. Again, with those occupation versus expense table, we can make the workplace cost, and we then have those workplace cost in 9 expense, 5 occupation, the 5 codes, and the 5 accounting. And when you combine this with the activity versus flow, which also has the 9 expense, then we expand the picture into activity cost in 6 dimensions we have here, and we also have a product. This is our bread versus the necessary activity, to do this all. Here we have 24 activities, and altogether we have now 515 entries. That means those costs stay those costs, so we have here 690,000, and we bring this together with the customer channel versus product, and we combine this with the sales table. So let's assume we have 63,000 altogether, and when we combine we have still this, and we now have the product, the customer, and the customer channel, so retail and Amazon. And we extend this here further, so we stay with the 690,000 and reduce it finally to product and customer, and this is our cost. So then we have, based upon this, made artificially a revenue, and when we combine this, so revenue minus customer cost, we get almost 80,000. So if we take the cost, the revenue, the profit, and the sales table, the volume, then we are able to make this data DB, which means it has the customer, the product, and 7 data pieces. So that means we do have, let's have a look. Let's mix it as a matrix, data across. So we have the volume, cost, profit, revenue, the unit cost, unit revenue, and unit profit for those customers and 2 products. So that's what we want, and we have a whale curve if you wish. Let's have a look. So we lose something, so we have some almost 80,000. And the most important part now, we have a process which we call FBM process. And here we can select which of those tables we will consider, plus all the other tables which go underneath the hood and are used as well. Okay, let's go there. Alright, so this function, which we called FBM process, is exactly this function here. When we hover over it, it says FBM process as a function of customer channel versus product, customer versus product, volume, occupation versus expense, and revenue. And of course, it takes those other tables which are sitting there where those tables are, and is using them as well. So it's important to have it in the right order. First the channel, then the volume, then the occupation, then the revenue, and when you plug it all in, you get this here as a result, and you can immediately have the whale curve here, and we have seen that before. And we also have used our 2-step profit increase function, which I explained elsewhere how it works, but by using the intelligence we learn from our own product behavior. And when we look at it, we have a nice improvement. So we have now 70,000 or so, we have 300,000, and it's not so bad. We could get part of this, at least it gives us a direction. So this is a first introduction to what we could do, starting from the value proposition, their products, and the ideas of what is necessary in terms of occupation versus expense. Use our process we have already, not shown here, but I can make a link to that, so we have a complete overview of that as well. That's so far. Thank you, and I'm happy to talk to anybody interested.